Hey everyone, I'm Almar of almarsguides.com, and in this video here I'm going to be talking to you about the general purpose skills that you can find in basically every specialization in Dungeon Siege 2 that are good for really every specialization. So this video is it's the actually final video that I'm doing in my Dungeon Siege 2 series, where I cover each specialization, the different builds that you can do on each of the classes, which spells to use, and all of that good information. If you would like to see those videos, the ones that are specifically about individual specializations, please, you can either search them on YouTube, just search Dungeon Siege 2 breakdown of, and then put in the specialization you want to have a breakdown of, and you should get my videos. If not, you can find them on almarsguides.com. I will always link to them on there, and I'll link to the playlist as well if I do happen to create one for that. And this video is basically going to cover every specialization and which abilities you'll want to get outside of your main ones. I do cover that a little bit in the videos that I did before, but this one's going to go a little bit more in detail. So let's get started with the ones in the melee tray. So Fortitude, Toughness, and Reinforced Armor are all very, very good for boosting your survivability. If you would like to use a shield on your characters, you also will have to get Barricade, which you have to get Barricade anyway on the way to Reinforced Armor, and you only ever need 1 point in Barricade if you plan to use a shield. But if you want to get, like, if you're playing a Nature Mage during all of Mercenary difficulty, and you find that your Nature Mage is dying way too easily, and she's your healer, or he is your healer, either or, you can dump points into Barricade and use a shield and cut that problem in half, for a manner of speaking. So as far as other talents in melee, if you're going to be a melee damage dealer, Alacrity is not too bad of an idea because it increases your melee attack speed, although it's not required. And you'll have to put 1 point into dual wield, which is kind of a waste in order to get there. But it's not too bad of a deal. And that's really it for the melee tray. So before we move on from the melee tree, I would like to talk a little bit about armor. So the reason armor is so important, and reinforced armor by extension, is because armor reduces all damage taken in combat. There's a chance that armor may only reduce your physical or melee damage taken, but I think it reduces all damage. If you mouse over armor in your character portrait, it says higher armor reduces damage taken in combat. That doesn't say physical damage, that doesn't say melee damage, it just says reduces damage taken in combat. So I assume that means all damage, but I could be wrong. As far as ranged goes, the only really abilities you want in ranged are survival and dodge. So dodge increases your chance to dodge melee and ranged attacks, and survival increases your ice, lightning, and fire resistance. It also allows you to harvest mana or health potions from health bushes. Also, it's worth mentioning, a lot of these abilities you only want to put like 5 or 6 points into max usually. Pay attention to when you start getting serious diminishing returns. Like 5 points is the last, in ranged anyway, is the last time that you'll get 2% per level up. At 5 to 6, or rather 6 to 7, you only get 1% chance to dodge, and it will be the same for survival. You only get 1% resist instead of 2%. And then you put another like 4 or 5 points into it, and you only get 0.5% instead of a whole 1%. Pay attention to when the diminishing returns kick in, because that's when you want to stop investing in the skill. You only want to get enough points into it to get the most out of it. Some people may want to stop investing in it when it cuts down to 2% instead of 3%. That's usually only like 3 points into each skill is when it drops to 2%. So keep that in mind. It's generalized good information to keep in mind. So brilliance in the combat magic tree, you only want to focus on that if you're an actual caster. Otherwise, you just skip it. Don't bother getting it, even if you're like a melee character and you run out of mana every single time you summon your pet. It's not worth getting brilliance. Debilitation, if you plan on using curses on any character, get debilitation. Summon Alacrity, if you're using a pet on basically any character, Summon Alacrity would help out a lot. A few points into it anyway for the bonus attack speed. Quicken casting, if you're going to be a nature mage, getting some points into quicken casting wouldn't be that terrible of an idea because it will increase your overall cast speed, which obviously works for both nature and combat magic. And that's really all there is to combat magic. There's no other talents in there that you'll want to get. For general all-purpose reasons, that is. Now that brings us to nature magic. Nature magic has a lot of talents in it that you want to get for general all-purpose reasons. The whole top of the tree is pet talents. Summon Fortitude is really good because it increases your pet's overall health. Summon Might is really good because it increases your pet's overall damage. Percentage-based increases. And Summon Bond will increase your survivability because it transfers some of the damage you take to your pet. All three of these talents are really, really, really good and worth getting. If you're using a pet, of course. You can still use a pet even if you don't get these talents too. Like, these talents are not required if you're using a pet. Although they do help a lot. You also have Natural Bond, which will reduce the mana cost of all of your spells, which is quite useful. Works for both nature and combat spells. Then you also have Enveloping Embrace as well as Feral Wrath. So, Enveloping Embrace increases all the spell power of Embrace spells, and Feral Wrath increases the spell power of Wrath spells. If you're using one of these buffs, you want to get at least, I would say, 10 points into these talents, because they will increase the effectiveness of your spells significantly. If you're using healing magic, even just as a spot healer, investing some points into Aquatic Affinity and Nurturing Gift wouldn't be too bad of an idea, but you don't have to. Aside from those, there's really nothing else in the nature magic tree that is actually worth getting. In the Blood Assassin tree, there's nothing that's worth getting in here unless you're a ranged character, really. The only thing that would be somewhat worth getting is improved weapon enhancements. If you're going to be using the Repulsion weapon enhancement, which increases your armor by 20%, and it also knocks back enemies that attack you. It's very, very good. One of the best weapon enhancements added in Broken World, if you ask me. And then last but not least, we have the Fist of Stone tree. So general purpose talents in here comes down to Chan of Stone, which will increase your armor and intelligence, your armor and life, depending on how much intelligence you have. So let me show you my Tar's Chan of Stone. I have 10 points into Chan of Stone with Tar, and my Tar has, I think, 600 intelligence, right? Yep, 660 intelligence. So with 10 points in the Chan of Stone and 660 intelligence, she gets a bonus 219 armor as well as a bonus 531 health. Which, I don't know about you, but it's quite freaking good. My Tar has almost as much armor as an actual tank thanks to this. And she has, just like 60 points under the amount of health my tank has too. And then I also have fast recovery, which is very useful because my Tar also uses heals. Fast recovery doesn't do that much on its own. It actually doesn't buff, it only buffs my own healing while I'm unconscious. So it doesn't buff my actual healing. However, Healing Hands buffs your healing by 25%, and it also gives you plus 100% healing when the party member is unconscious. So, those two skills are definitely very worth getting if you're going to be the healer for your group, or if you're just going to be a spot healer for your group. Even if you're just going to be a spot healer, it's still worthwhile to get those, because those they will increase your healing while you're unconscious, not just the spot healing that you do. But that's all there is to it. Those are all of the skills that you'll want to get in the different talent trees, or skill trees, specializations, whatever you would like to call them in this game, that are useful for basically every specialization there is. If you would like to learn more about each independent specialization, of course, as I said at the start of the video, check out my other videos on Dungeon Siege 2. I go into great detail about each specialization, which spells to use, and all of that fun stuff. Anyway, that's all there is to it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this short video, and if you think I left anything out, please leave a comment below to let everybody know, and to also let me know what I left out. If you liked the video, please leave a like, and if you would like to see future videos like this one for a whole bunch of other games, subscribe to my channel and keep an eye out for all of the future videos I do. Anyway, that's all there is to it. I'll catch you guys around in a future video. See ya.